Hi, this is Mindy, and in this tutorial we're going to write our first Java program, which is going to be called the HelloWorld program. Our program will consist of one class. Java classes make up programs. If it's a complicated program, you could have many classes working together, or in a simple program like ours, you would have just one class. And we're going to start off our class with some comments, which are double forward slashes, and we'll write our name, the date, and on the next line we'll write the name of the program and a brief description about what it does. And it might seem silly to you to write a comment about such a basic program, but as your programs get more complex, it'll make it easier to remind you what this class does, or someone who's never read your program before will have an idea of what they're going to read in your code. Give yourself some empty lines with your Enter key, and you'll notice the comment lines are green. DrJava puts them in green so it tells you these are comments and they are not used by the compiler to run your code. The empty lines below are also ignored by the compiler. We're going to start our class with a class declaration. That line of code is public class, and the class's name is Hello World, curly brace. Use your Enter key, give yourself some space, and a closing curly brace. Automatically, DrJava highlights in between the closing curly brace up to its matching opening curly brace. Everything within these two curly braces is going to be inside your class, which is how it's got to be for the compiler to accept it. You'll notice that the class name is written as one word. Names of variables and classes have to be one word in Java. They can't have empty spaces. To make it more readable, I've made the W of world a capital. Within our class, we're going to put a main method, which is written as public static void main parentheses capital S string pair of square brackets, args, closing parentheses, and a curly brace. Scroll down, close off your main method with a closing curly brace, and you'll notice again DrJava automatically shows you the pair of curly braces. And this main method acts as like a starter or a go button. The compiler looks for a main method in any of your classes, and it uses that as the starting point to running your program. It starts with that instruction and executes from that instruction on down through your class. So inside our main method, we want it to output text to the console. So to do this, we write system with a capital S, dot, which is your period, out, print, and you'll notice these are all English words, so it's pretty easy to understand Java and read it. Then you need a parentheses, and our text message is got to be within double quotation. So we write hello world and end our text message with a double quotation. The parentheses, again, DrJava highlights it to emphasize the opening and closing parentheses, and end that line with a semicolon. Now we can compile it. And the first time you compile a class, DrJava will save it for you, and it suggests a file name, Hello World, which is the same as our class name. So don't change the file name, or the compiler will not be able to find your file and it won't be able to run and execute your class. So just save it with the name it's picked. And if there are no errors down here in the compiler output, then it's ready to run. So now we would select run, and it should output to the console hello world, which it does. Now we'll run it again, and you can see what's going to happen. You see it ends up right next to the first time we ran it, because up here we told it print out hello world, and that's what it did. When we ran it again, it did the exact same thing. So computers are kind of stupid in that sense. They do exactly what you tell them to do. So we want to put some empty space in front. Now it'll make it a little easier to read, so we can save it up here, compile it. No compiler errors till we run it. And now you can see we added those spaces here, or we added the spaces in the code up here, and they show up down here in the output. So computers are very literal. They do exactly what you tell them to do. They don't do any thinking. They don't figure anything out. So you have to be very careful. So some of the errors you might get would be, say, for example, a simple one would be if you had no semicolon and you compile this, it's going to tell you on line 11 it expects a semicolon. And semicolons always go at the end of the line, so you put that there. Now you recompile it and it's happy. It would run. Another problem you might have is if you didn't close off your text message, compile it, it's going to tell you on line 11 it has an unclosed string literal. In Java, text is called a string, so it's saying unclosed. It doesn't have a matching double quotation mark. So you close it off and it will now be happy. Some other problems are if you don't have curly braces, maybe you're missing one. You compile it. So reach the end of the file without parsing. That means nothing stopped it. This one is matching, matched up. This one doesn't have a matching curly brace. So it needs a curly brace to close off the class. So there's just some of the basic errors you might get in this kind of program. We looked at single line comments. We looked at declaring a class, writing a main method, how to output text to the console, and we looked at a few of the errors you might have. You also notice once we saved our class, it shows up over here on our file pane, and it's a .java type of file, which makes sense. So here's your very first Java class, and you're well on your way to making your millions writing Java code. So, hope this was helpful. I hope you stop back again and learn a little more Java. Thanks. Bye.